Bonjour à tous, bienvenue dans le pays le plus peuplé du monde, j'ai nommé la Chine avec ses 1 milliard et 400 millions d'habitants. Donc on est ici dans la ville de Suzhou, dans un de ses plus grands jardins. Donc Suzhou, c'est une ville qui est à côté de Shanghai, et donc on est en touriste ici avec Andrew et Yaona. Donc voilà, ça va être l'occasion de faire cette petite vidéo, notamment pour présenter donc la surdité en Chine et la langue des signes chinoise.
大家好，我是杨娜，我来自上海，我是专业的手语翻译人员。今天很荣幸和 Adrian 和 Andrew 一起来到苏州旅游，并且同时录制这个关于聋人文化的一个录像。接下来 Adrian 会跟大家详细的更多介绍关于聋人文化在中国的一些情况。We have about 20 million deaf people, which consists of 1.67% of Chinese population. Many deaf people go to school, but they have very little opportunities to go to college because don't have enough interpreters to help them to learn about different courses. Deaf parents, they had this vaccine when they were little kids, because in their era, like the 60s or 70s generation, the medical condition is very bad, very poor. They have very limited resources, so there's only one vaccine to reject for the kids. So that's how deaf people become deaf when they were little kids. My sign name is Wang Lulu. When I was a little kid, I never go to school in the past because my parents don't have a job and they are very poor, so I can't go to school. So when I was 15 or 16 years old, my deaf friends taught me sign language. That's how I know about sign language and grew up. So at 16 years old, I travel a lot, travel over China and make many friends. That's how I know about life experience. I learned about Chinese language, and I'm a very independent person. I always find jobs. I try to find jobs in company and manufacturing, but because I'm deaf, so they don't really accept me. But because I'm so independent, so I always try to make a living by myself. Most hearing people think there's only one sign language in the world, but that's not true because we speak different language. So sign language is not the same in the world, not the same. So in China, we have Chinese sign language. In America, they have ASL. Japan has Japanese sign language. And Korea, Taiwan share same sign language. Chinese sign language is different from Japanese sign language. When I communicate with foreigners, I always ask them to sign again. For the first day, I can't really understand them, but after a week, it's easy for us to communicate with each other. When I meet hearing people, I don't really meet many hearing people. I only meet deaf people. So I meet some religious people like Jehovah's Witnesses. They know sign language, so I can communicate with them, but we don't really keep in touch. We lost contact with each other. we have two kind of sign language. One is official sign language. Another is like natural sign language. Because on TV you can see the small screen, so you have like official sign language, but many deaf people cannot understand because it's very boring and don't have facial expressions. But for the deaf sign language, it's very interesting, more facial expressions and more creative. That's why deaf people love their own sign language. So for me, when I was a little kid, I went to kindergarten school. I did have hearing aids. According to my listening ability, I had a very basic one. Hearing aids, it's very cheap, only 60 Pi. And I received like lip reading training. I can speak, but after I grew up, the hearing aids price it increased so much and it's more expensive, so I can't really afford it. So my speaking ability really declined. But for the hearing implant, I think it's really detrimental to health. It doesn't really matter whether I can hear or I can't hear, but I'm able to work because I think deaf culture is very important to me. As a deaf person, I respect my deafness. I think deaf people can do everything except hearing. CODA stands for Child of Deaf Adults. It's that's my family background and that's how I become an interpreter, because my parents are both deaf. So as a coder at home, it's 7-24-hour job because I always interpret for my parents all the time. Even when I was a little girl, I always call my grandma. Whatever my grandma said, I need to interpret for my mom. So even call mailman to come here to pick up the package. So that's what I do, even to go to a hospital with my mom to interpret for her. Because as I mentioned just now, there are not many interpreters in China, and interpreters are not paid well here, and so that's what I do as a coder person here in China. I think it's very complex relationship. It's love and hate, I would say that. I love interpreting, but at the same time it's too much for me sometimes, because it's like every second, every minute you need to interpret for your parents. If you're at home, they will ask you so many questions, like what you do, what you see, how can we do that. Sometimes they even need your help. So that's very, I think it's a lifelong journey for a coder. That's what I would say. But I love my parents. I think that's the gift I received from them. I think when people think when they lose something, you really gain. So although they come here, but they love life, and I gained this gift from them. That's what I inherited from my parents: the language skill and the passion for the deaf community.